Hello everyone, Miss Zugo here, and today we are going to be looking at classifying triangles. Now, in the Delta Math, you would have already done some work having to do with this, but let's get started. If we were to classify triangles by their sides, we would look at how many sides a triangle has that are the same measure. So this is an equilateral triangle because all of the three sides are the same. Now, looking at a triangle that only has two sides the same, we call those isosceles. And finally, we've noticed that there are some triangles without any congruent sides, and those are scalene. So taking a look at this once again, we are looking for sides that are congruent, sides that are the same. That is how we are going to go about classifying these triangles by sides. Now, if we're looking at the angles of a triangle, we would see that an acute triangle is a triangle that has all angles acute. So just remembering that acute means less than 90 degrees. So if a triangle has all angles that are less than 90 degrees, then it is an acute triangle. Next, we have an obtuse triangle. An obtuse triangle has one obtuse angle. And once again, remembering that an obtuse angle means greater than 90 degrees. So if a triangle has one angle that is greater than 90, then we call that an obtuse angle. And lastly, we have our right triangle. A right triangle has one right angle. And remembering that a right angle means to be greater than 90 degrees. Sorry, equal to 90 degrees. So it must be equal. So take a look. This is how we classify triangles by their angle measurements. So now let's give it a try. Here we have a triangle. We see sides and we see angle measurements. And there are two things we want to know. The first is how many equal sides are there in this triangle? If we look, we notice that all of the segments, all of the sides are not equal. None of them are equal. So we say that there's 0 equal sides. And then now we want to ask ourselves, what type of angles are in this triangle? Well, I see that they are all less than 90, so they are all acute. There are 3 acute angles in this triangle. So if you need to pause the video, but I'd like you to think of what triangle has no equal sides and all of the angles are acute. If you pause the video to think, that was great. And if you want a refresher, it is that this is a scalene acute. Remember that scalene means to have no equal sides, and acute triangles means that all of the angles are less than 90 degrees, like this triangle. Okay, now looking at another triangle, we are going to ask ourselves the questions again. How many equal sides are here? So take a moment to look at the triangle. Are there any sides that are equal? Okay, well, I see that both RT and RS have 6.21 as its measurement. So there are 2 equal sides in this triangle. And now, what do the angles look like? What type of angles do we see here? Well, I notice that there is one that is equal to 90 degrees and 2 of them that are less than 90 degrees. So there's 1 right and 2 acute, but because there is 1 right angle in it, this is an isosceles right. Remember, isosceles means to have 2 equal sides, and right means to have 1 right angle. So put together, this is an isosceles right triangle. And lastly, we have this triangle and thinking about how many equal sides it has. We notice that it has no equal sides. Now thinking of how many angles this has, what type of angles? Okay, so take a moment. Okay, so we notice that there is one obtuse, one that is greater than 90, and two acute. So remember, in our classifications, what descriptor do we use for having no equal sides? So what type of triangle has no equal sides? And then what triangle just has one obtuse angle in it? Okay, that would be a scalene obtuse. Keep on studying these and keep on trying to solve and classify. If you need help, we want you to sign on to Quizlet and use the link in Classroom under Important Materials to study your Intro to Triangles set. Also, we will be putting up a reference guide so you can use that to just as a reference and if you want to remember what these classifications are. But have a wonderful day and feel free to email us with any questions or concerns.